Why platinum? I haven't seen enough chatter on the web about platinum and why that is a solid investment here in 2020. So I thought I would take a crack at it and explain why I have platinum in my portfolio and a lot of it. But first, if you've been investing at all in the year 2020, you know this has been an interesting year. We have what I have dubbed the pandemic plunge, which occurred in March of 2020. Pretty much everything in March had fallen about 40%. I've got Vanguard Total Stock Market pulled up on my computer. VTI is the stock ticker. That's probably my favorite mutual fund, and I'm going to use that to benchmark the stock market versus other things. So it had been on a tear for the last couple of years up until the pandemic plunge in March. Now, it was $171 before the plunge, and within a few weeks, it got as low as $111. A pretty huge correction. What is that, like 40%? Let's see, 171 divided by 111. Looking at a 35% plunge, so pretty bad. Now, since that's happened, as we all know, the stock market's been on an absolute tear. And as where we sit today, October 15th, the average or the cost per share of VTI is now $176.89. So in other words, we are at a new all-time high for the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index, even though we are in the middle of a pandemic. To me, that doesn't seem right. Now, if you compare gold the past year, well, right before the pandemic plunge, gold, I'm using GLD as my stock ticker, $157.55. It plunged as low as $138, so really not too much of a plunge, to be honest, but a plunge. And it spiked up as high as $191 in August, and where we sit today, $178.71. So a new all-time high from where it had been. Yeah, pretty much actually about as high as when it last spiked in 2011. Platinum, on the other hand, and silver, I don't even need to go into it. Silver's done pretty much the same thing. It plunged pretty heavily in March, and it spiked. I guess I'll take a look at it. Yeah, it was trading SLV. Was $17.28 before the plunge, got as low as $11.62, got as high as $26 after the plunge, and now we're sitting at $22. So significant increase over where it even was before the plunge. Platinum. This is where it gets interesting. Platinum, on the other hand, right before the pandemic plunge, platinum was trading at $95. Well, I'm looking at PPLT as a stock ticker. It was trading at $95. When the plunge occurred, pandemic plunge, we got as low as $55.36. And we have risen with silver and with gold, but those are at all-time highs, or 5-year highs. Platinum, on the other hand, today is only sitting at $81.26, so it still hasn't fully recovered from where it had been before the pandemic plunge. Furthermore, platinum is an interesting asset. It is 16 times more rare than gold. So every year, 1/16 the amount of platinum is actually mined versus gold. So it's 16 times rarer. And currently, the price per ounce is about $1,000 for platinum and around $2,000 for gold. And it actually used to be $2,000 for platinum, $1,000 for gold. So we're looking at kind of a weird, bizarre time when we have an asset that's 16 times rarer. It used to be double the price per share or per ounce. And today you're looking at it being worth half of that. So that doesn't seem right. So A, it hasn't rebounded nearly as hard as stocks, silver, or gold. B, it's 16 times rarer, yet it's priced cheaper than gold. And then this is just kind of an odd tidbit, but I find it to be important. So if you're looking at like a membership, a gym membership, and they have different tiers to it, they might have, the bronze, the gold, the platinum. And I can almost guarantee you every single time, platinum is going to be your highest. Just the other day, I was buying brakes for my car. And they asked me, well, I wanted ceramic brakes. And I looked at the options, and they had, we have in stock, or we have CarQuest Gold or CarQuest Platinum. And I said, what's the difference? And of course, the Platinum was more expensive, and I think it came with the mounting hardware and a warranty that the Gold didn't. Of course, I chose the Platinum because I'm a Platinum bull. But I find it fascinating that even in the consumer's eyes, and even in mainstream products, subscriptions, car brakes, you name it, Platinum is always above Gold in terms of the higher tier. So we're looking at a weird, rare time in history when Platinum, even though it's rarer than Gold by a lot, and even though in the consumer's eye it has a higher valuation than Gold, for some reason it just isn't being treated like that. And then my final point is I'm not buying this market rally. Especially, I'm just not buying it. Regardless of who wins the election, whether that be Trump or Biden, I'm not buying it. I think that we are due for another correction, another leg down. And when that does happen, I expect VTI to dip again. And when that does, not just VTI, the entire stock market. And when the entire stock market does dip, I anticipate the precious metals will have an uptick. So you'll have, the whole stock market's going to fall a little bit. And then maybe precious metals will uptick a little bit, as that safe haven store of value asset hedge against the stock market. At that point, you would have a perfect time to then swap your platinum for more equities. And then you'd have, imagine if equities fell by 30% and platinum rose by 20% and you made that swap that day, you'd have 50% more equities than you could have had just the day before. On top of that, I think platinum just in and of itself is undervalued. So I think if and when this happens, where the stock market falls and precious metals rise, I think platinum is going to really rise. So it's going to be a really, really beautiful potential swap. So those are my thoughts on platinum. I haven't seen enough people talking about it, so I had to make a video. I'm definitely bullish on platinum today. I'm not bullish on the stock market. And I think in the coming months, we're going to have a stock market correction and a precious metal boom, especially platinum, because it's already trailing. And when that happens, it's going to be a beautiful day to jump back into equities and have way more than you could have if you just were holding, as of today, only equities.